Okay. You ready?
Um, More or less, I guess.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Sam and Alex podcast. It is week 2. I actually thought of a name for this podcast, if you can believe it or not. I haven't told you, Sam, what it is. Do you want to hear what this amazing name is?
Yeah, go on.
All right. The name is RPG Radio.
Okay.
No input whatsoever on that. I'm kind of exposing myself here. I'm feeling a little sensitive about it, but
Yeah, that seems fine.
all right, moving on. Today, as you know, this is our weekly gaming news podcast where we keep you guys up to date with the latest and greatest gaming news stories apparently around the world. It's a bit of a slow week this week though because everyone's still completely obsessed with the Nintendo Switch apart from one story, so I'll get right into the docket today. So, I think we're just going to start with the main news. Mass Effect Andromeda came out and was surprisingly bad. That's basically the story right there. Also, the latest news on that. For those of you who don't know, there have been severe issues with animation, like the sort of mocap animation on the characters, is sort of the main gripe people are having with the game. Latest news on that is that there will be no patch to fix that on day one, despite criticism. Other stories today, Telltale CEO is stepping down, despite the fact that the company is kind of on the rise right now. So we'll be going into that in a bit of detail and talking about what we think about Telltale in general. And then I couldn't not include this story today because both me and Sam are beloved owners of PS3 systems, but unfortunately, the production of them is ending soon in Japan, so we don't know what this will sort of lead on into in the future, but that's quite a sad one. Moving on to that, Switch is getting some new games. Chief among them is The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Great game, more on that later. And we'll be ending with Pokemon Yellow, which can now be played on the Apple Watch. So we found some good stories despite it being not the greatest week. So how are you, Sam? Is there anything you want to add to that discussion also, or are we Gucci?
Uh, I well, I had some ideas for things we could talk about if we
Yeah,
have
I'm.
time left.
What? Give me
But
give me one. Give me your favorite one.
okay, well, one, but I have so many. I have so many great topic.
All of okay. Give me 1.5.
Okay, well, there's the whole thing about um Jim Sterling gave Zelda a 7 out of 10, and then
Oh, okay.
proceeded to be DDoSed by some people.
That is news. See,
Uh,
I'm not up to date with Jim Sterling. For those of you who don't know, I exclusively follow about two gaming reviewers on YouTube. So yeah, but that's
uh-huh.
quite good.
So
Let's talk about that because I do actually have opinions on Jim Sterling, which may be slightly controversial. So
just like Jim Sterling's controversial opinion on Zelda.
oh yeah,
Oh,
nice,
oh.
nice. This is the quality entertainment you come for, guys. Oh
Uh-huh.
god. Do you want to give me your other half, or you know?
Well, I mean, it's not directly gaming related. My other
All right.
one
Well,
was
we can work it in. So, what is it, if it's
well,
interesting?
it's just to do with the new AMD CPU will not be
Oh, right.
supported by Windows 7 and 8.1. So,
No. That's I feel like the universe is
uh-huh.
telling me something with this. I feel like you chose this
Uh-huh.
story specifically for
Uh-huh.
me, but we'll get into that later then because that'll be a fun discussion.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, top story. Mass Effect. It's not out yet, is it? It's kind of like it's not been released. It's like in a PTR right now, like a playtest region or something.
I think it's basically, you know how for reviewers they
Hmm.
have basically, I think people have released some gameplay of it, is what I'm trying to say.
Ah, right. So basically, streamers, let's players, those kind of people have been given
I
early
believe so.
access. Okay, they probably
I
got
believe
NDAs
so.
on various things, I guess. So, I mean, that's nothing new. That happens in every game nowadays. It's kind of the way you market them, but that's kind of a bad thing to happen, especially if you're giving it to the people who are going to promote your game, especially online more than anyone else. Like
Hmm.
how does something like this happen? Because I mean, if you're playing like an indie game, like Life is Strange, and it was a complaint about Life is Strange at the time, was like you get that weird fish mouth effect where the mouth's moving, but it does not sync in any way to what they're saying. But you kind of forgive it because it's a small team
Yeah.
made on a budget. But this is Mass Effect. This is BioWare. Like.
Nah, they don't have the technology yet. It's too far advanced.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They need to James Cameron it and invent the
Uh
technology to properly cap. They'll shrink people down, convert them into code, and then have them act in the game for all eternity.
huh.
And this
Uh-huh.
there'll be a central
Yeah.
server where these people just have to constantly perform the same
Uh-huh.
lines over and over
Yeah.
again until they die, but they can't die because they're digital. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
But seriously though, I mean, you see these videos where it's like, oh, 2007 Mass Effect 1, like it looks perfectly fine. And then 2017, it's just like this person going, nah, 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 and then like words are coming out. Like,
Mm.
uh,
I genuinely don't understand how that
yeah,
happens.
it's not like a bug where it happens sometimes either. It's like everything, like it's something like it's almost like they have this really big audio track that plays throughout the whole. I mean, this is not how it works at all, but if you can imagine, like, there's just this one big sort of audio track that plays throughout the whole game, and it's just slightly out of sync with like the big video track. Like, if it was a movie,
Mm.
that's what it would be, but it's a game, and it doesn't work like that. So,
Yeah.
do we know if it happens across all platforms or if it's just like I guess I can't find any information on it, but.
Yeah, I couldn't find any like good primary sources on that.
Mm,
So, um, basically, I don't think we know quite how bad it's going to be.
mhm.
Whether it's just stuff we've seen and that just happens to have shown the worst of it, which would
Yeah,
be strange for them to release stuff which is the worst. But
it's like marketing suicide, isn't it? Like, what if we just
uh-huh.
released the very worst aspects of our game to the media? That'll
Uh-huh.
work for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've never played a Mass Effect game, but I've watched streamers and like Let's Players for 1 and 2, and then everyone knows three's terrible, but that's fine. We talked about that
Three?
last
No,
week.
no, 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 no. Three's not terrible.
hmm
The ending's terrible.
Oh well, okay. That's fair. I mean, I do hear it has like the best multiplayer, which is an odd comment to
Uh-huh.
give, but
Yeah.
apparently it was actually pretty good. But of course, this is when Call of Duty was big, so no one played it. But
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, basically, I mean, there's not really much to say on it other than come on. And of course, when they're saying that there's going to be no day one patch, I mean, could that almost mean that it's going to be fixed before then, or is that just them saying, yeah, it's broken and we don't
Mm,
care? Like, that's
that
really.
seems like they would be going. It's broken. They might fix it in the future, but
Mm,
I mean, to be fair, it's not a vital aspect of gameplay, you know.
no, no.
It's very off-putting, but if the game otherwise is fun, then
Uh, Although it's kind of immersion breaking, isn't it? And that's what games have above like every other every other kind of media is that you get immersed in it in a way that you don't really get in any other kind of sort of experience there. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
It
know. I think we'll just have to properly wait and see what the general opinion is when it's properly out and everything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it almost sounds like I mean, if the game's good, it'll be good. If it's bad, it'll be bad, and you just can hope that it'll get fixed. And if this is some kind of weird, all marketing is all promotion is good promotion thing, like where they're like, oh, but if we sort of stir up controversy, this will get more people talking about the game, and then when it is fixed on release, people will like it. That's kind of a horrible approach, and I really hope they're not doing that because, if the game's good, it'll just sell on its own. But
Hmm.
okay, well, we talked about that enough. Should we move on to Telltale? I
Sure.
guess. Now, I'm bad at finding the name because, spoiler alert, I am just reading this from the internet and it just. Here we go. Kevin Berner. Now, I'm going to do a quick Google of Kevin Berner and see what he's done. Basically, he is the CEO of Telltale. It, are you going to beat me to it? I think my internet connection's faster than yours. I'm going to get there. Oh. He has a BAFTA, Games
He
Award in
does.
mobile and
He does, in
handheld.
fact,
Yeah.
have a BAFTA. Yeah.
I mean, based on his a cursory glance at his Wikipedia page, he seems to be pretty good. I mean, Telltale's one of these companies that's kind of, a few years ago, if they announced that their CEO was stepping down, people would be like, "Who? What?" But they've really sort
Mm.
of come into the limelight since like Walking Dead, and I think, well, since season one of The Walking Dead, they've just been one of these game companies that whenever a new game comes out, there's just a huge amount of attention on it because A, it works so well for like the Let's Playing community, and B, like most of the time they're okay to pretty good, you know.
Yeah,
A few
I would say
exceptions.
so.
Minecraft Story Mode, I mean it hits its target demographic, but it's,
Yeah,
it's not
and
my.
they have a problem of like fake choice.
Yeah, yeah. Where like you'll be like, oh, I have to choose between agreeing with person X and person Y, but in the end, because the story can only
Yeah,
really go in one direction, it just kind of leads to it being exactly the same as it was. Yeah.
there's a couple that are very bad for that. Like I believe The Wolf Among Us is
Mm.
one of the main culprits of
Yeah, that
you
was
generally end up with the same ending and stuff.
yeah, that was the ending of it as well, which was weird, where it's like basically you have this character and you can choose to like either like spare him, kill him in a not very gory way, or like rip his head off, and like apart from
Uh-huh.
like some character reactions in the end, it basically all results in it being exactly the same. Also, the last
Yeah.
episode of The Wolf Among Us, this is kind of a tangent, but the last episode of The Wolf Among Us was like a weird court case thing, and it was really bizarre. Like it suddenly turned into like Judge Judy out of nowhere, except like set in the Fable universe.
Oh, like Ace Attorney.
Yeah, Ace Attorney. It's
Phoenix.
Birdman, Ace Attorney. Yeah. God, that show is really bizarre, by the way. I've watched like one episode of it, and I'm like, this is pretty
Well,
weird. Yeah.
it's a game, right?
Oh, it's a game. Oh, I was thinking of the Adult Swim series of a similar name.
Oh, right. Yes.
But
Right.
Ace Attorney, the one where he's like, it's the Japanese one.
Objection.
Objection. Yeah, overruled. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
God, is
Yeah.
that on DS, by the way? Is that one of those games that got
Yes.
ported to the DS or something? Yeah.
Uh, I think they've made like genuinely new games
Oh,
out of it. They
really?
made oh. You know Professor Layton,
Yes, I do.
the puzzle one. They
Mm,
made a Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney cross Professor Layton game.
that sounds like the
So
most
you
amazing
play as
thing
both.
ever.
You do like the Professor Layton stuff and then the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney stuff.
So like Professor
Yeah.
Layton finds the criminal and then Ace Attorney like prosecutes them.
I don't know, but it'll be something like that.
That does sound pretty incredible. But we're
Uh-huh.
we're miles off track now. Um
What were we talking about?
Telltale
Telltale.
CEO
Telltale.
steps down. I mean, it's at kind of a weird time. I mean, it says here that he joined in January 2015, which is I believe when season 2 of The Walking Dead was coming out, which I on a personal note think is like the weakest one because it's kind of it kind of suffers from that issue of you're playing as Clementine and then like every major decision doesn't make sense because it turns into a bunch of like fully capable experienced adults listening to like an 11-year-old girl on
Uh-huh.
like what to do you know but Yeah, so he joined around then, but I'd say since then it's kind of
Well,
taken off.
what have they done since then?
They
They've done.
have, give me a second, Telltale Games. Ugh, you know how Google has that thing where it pulls up a bar of like everything, you can just scroll through it and it's really convenient? Didn't happen this time, so I have to go to Telltale's wiki. Game list
Oh,
load
woe is
wiki.
you.
Oh, now it comes up. Oh, and then it went away. Uh, bear with me. They've done a few. Off the top of my head, Minecraft, which was huge. Minecraft Story Mode. Telltale.
They did
Here we
Tales
go.
from the Borderlands, did they not?
Oh, yes. Okay, so from 2015, in no particular order, Batman the Telltale game series. Now, I've watched pretty much every Telltale game. I can tell
Mm-hmm.
you without any degree of exaggeration that Batman the Telltale game series is objectively the worst one. And
Uh-huh.
that's counting Minecraft Story Mode, which is just a pandering, inside baseball-esque kind of, oh, it's Minecraft. Look, these are YouTubers who play Minecraft thing. And no, Batman Telltale game series is much worse than that, despite the fact that the main character, Bruce Wayne, looks like Archer. So, because like
Uh-huh.
it doesn't lend itself to a Telltale game because like you're playing as Batman or Bruce Wayne and you're asking questions that Batman or Bruce Wayne would already know the answer to because he's Batman. But you have to ask those questions to introduce the player and to like give you like options and choice, and it does like you can choose to like kill people in that game as Batman, except then you end up not killing them because he's Batman. So it's like,
Mm.
it's really bizarre. But moving on from that, Borderlands was pre this guy's
Yeah.
takeover, but that was
I
objectively.
guess the things with Borderlands and the Game of Thrones one, they
Mhm.
were still releasing episodes then, because that was
Yeah,
right at the end of 2014,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they went on. They were releasing episodes for like a year
Well,
or so,
remember how
I think.
Borderlands had that huge delay, that like 6 month delay or something between like
Uh-huh.
episode 1 and episode 2, and everyone was just screaming the entire time like we want more because this is amazing.
Uh-huh.
Like
That was really good.
I would say Tales from the Borderlands is like probably the second best Borderlands game, not even like, and as well as being the best Telltale game. What else have they done? They apparently made a Jurassic Park game in 2011. That's interesting.
Mm.
7 Days to Die. That's not Telltale, is it?
What?
No, that must be mixed up.
No,
No,
I
that's
can
just
guarantee you it's not. Oh, published by
published by
Telltale.
Telltale. Okay. Well, I mean, that lends the money somehow, right? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah. I mean,
So apparently they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy is one that's coming up.
see if
Be interesting.
Chris Pratt. See if Chris Pratt doesn't voice Star Lord in that, and they don't get what's his name, the guy who plays Rocket, Bradley Cooper. There we go. If they don't get Bradley Cooper to play him, then I'll be a little disappointed. But
That comes out quarter 2, so soon, I
summer.
assume.
Yeah, quarter 2 summer because quarter 1's like up to spring, I believe. I think like that's like gonna
Yeah,
be
well,
mid.
we're entering into quarter 2 soon, I
That's
believe.
right. Yeah,
January, February, March. So
April,
April will
May.
be
Yeah,
June. Yeah.
that's something to look forward to. But I mean, a CEO stepping down isn't really news. It's obvious that they found like a better job somewhere, or they just feel like, companies change CEOs at like all the time, but it's just a bit odd that they're choosing it to be like right now. When this company, after going through like this dip of sort of everyone being bored with Telltale to being like, oh yeah, they actually make pretty good games. So it's coming up.
Mm.
Um,
Wait, just a
yeah,
quick aside.
go for it.
They don't have Chris Pratt for Star Lord.
Do they have like a sound
It's
alike
uh,
or
it's Scott Porter
Scott
who has
Porter?
done
Nothing.
mm, Lego Batman 3,
Oh,
Batman Arkham Knight as Nightwing. He was
uh,
in Minecraft Story Mode,
oh right. That
other Lego games.
that's the other
Nothing of note, really.
that's the other thing that's really weird with Telltale games is they have like this in-house cast that like they use for
Uh-huh.
they use for everything. So like you're playing like Minecraft story mode, and then like one of the badass guys, you're like, "Hey Lee," and he's like, "My name's not Lee. It's my Minecraft name." And you're like, "Yeah, but you're Lee though, just in this universe." Uh, do you think that guy
Yeah.
will ever be able to get a job as a voice actor again, or do you think it'll be a situation where he literally can only be like Lee from The Walking Dead? He's Luke Skywalker himself, basically.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Shall we move on to probably the saddest story in this whole thing?
Go on.
PlayStation 3 production is ending soon. I mean,
Oh well.
yeah. Wow, okay. Heartless. I like my PS3. My PS3 is like my number one console. I'd still say that at the time the PS3 came out, I would choose to have a PS3 over a PC, and that's like saying quite a lot, you know? Mainly for Little Big Planet, mind you, but yeah.
Yes.
But I guess they don't need to produce any more units. They're not gonna make any more profit because there's like objectively no reason to own a PS3 now when you could just buy a PS4. But it's kind of
Yeah.
like it's like when like Modern Warfare shut down their servers and everyone's like it's kind of like the end of an era. It's really like it's actually coming to an end, you know?
Uh-huh.
But so I thought instead of talking about the story, because there's not really much meat here, do you want to just talk about the best PS3 games and how we're gonna miss that golden age of Sony not charging for internet access? But
Sure.
okay, what's your favorite PS3 game, Sam?
Um, Probably Little Big Planet or Little Big Planet 2.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. Let's turn the segment into let's talk about. I mean, yeah, there is also Red Dead Redemption, but that's not a PS3 exclusive,
Nah.
so like
Nah.
that's it's a good game though. I can't wait to talk about that when bloody we get any news about Red Dead Redemption 2 in the next week or whatever. That would be fun.
Mm.
But Little Big Planet is the one game that I just really wish existed like on all platforms because I think if it was on PC, I would just still be playing that today. You know, it's better than Minecraft for sandbox, and I know that's a controversial opinion because everyone's like, "Oh, Minecraft's the ultimate sandbox game." I'm like, "Yeah, but in Minecraft you can't have a jetpack and like, you know, I guess you can with
No,
mods,
no, you
but
can. But you know.
yeah, you have to mod your game to
Could you
oblivion.
imagine Little Big Planet with mods?
That
Oh,
that would be horrifying. Like, but the,
next level.
the thing is, like, I don't think it could use texture packs. I would love to see like more backgrounds, more skins, sort of like retexturing of all the different base elements. But I don't know how well it would do with mods because I guess you could give you more circuitry as well, like condensed circuitry, so you can make more complex machines. But it's
Uh-huh.
one of the things where it's so open, especially with the manipulation of like the tools you have to manipulate and create the environment that kind of
Uh-huh.
that's what mods allow you to do in the first place. But that's kind of what Little Big Planet is in a sense. It's just modding tools to create your own experience. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you still have a PS3, you can still play it. You know, it it,
It's
it,
true.
it exists.
Servers are still up, I
Oh
believe.
God, can you imagine the day those shut down forever? That'll be
I'll
pretty sad.
cry.
That, because it'll
All
be
our
like
marvelous creations no longer.
the giant T-Rex made out of dissolve, and then you just grab onto it and its head snaps off, and you're like, oh, and then the body's still moving up and down because it's attached to
Uh-huh.
a motor. There's no like, yeah,
Jazz Hand Zombie, the
jazz hand
classic.
zombie that dropped exploding hammers. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Can you do that in Minecraft? I don't think so.
Yeah, take that Minecraft. I mean, you probably can, but it would take you 900 hours. You build it block by block. See, that's the beautiful thing about Little Big Planet is unlike Minecraft, where there's sort of like you can do anything, and it's like we're not even gonna help you a little bit to do that. It's all up to you. Little Big Planet's like you can do anything, but here's the tools to do anything in a reasonable amount of time, so you don't become a shut-in and live off of like cereal for your entire life.
Wow.
I,
Little Big Planet 1 wasn't really, but Little Big Planet 2 definitely.
yeah, but the thing is, I almost see like Little Big Planet 1 as being like the beta for Little Big Planet 2, where they're like, okay, these are what is needed to make this game all it can be, and then they just kind of
Uh-huh.
translated that across. What are medium?
Plus, we
Yeah, you go. Sorry.
well, I was just gonna say we can claim to have a role in the designing of Little Big Planet
Oh yeah, I'll let you tell the story.
because one time we were at this thing called Dare to Be Digital.
Hmm.
It's a competition thing, but
Based in
basically Little Big
Scotland.
Planet.
Hmm.
Of course. But Little Big Planet was there, um, and they
This
were
was
doing demos.
Yeah, this was before it got
This
released. They
this
were sort
was
of.
before it was released. Yes,
Mm.
it wasn't part of the competition. It's separate.
I think
Just
they
in
were just
case
sort
you're
of showing people the
confused.
beta of the game and being like, "Hey, check out this
Uh
cool
huh.
game we made at conferences and stuff." But yeah,
Uh
anyway,
huh.
continue.
Yeah. So we were playing, and then I can't remember exactly what happened. This was
It was me,
quite a long
you,
time
and
ago.
some other kids. Yeah, we were like pretty
Some
young at the time.
randoms. Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically someone did something to annoy someone else.
Mm.
And then one of us was like, you know, I, I just I just wish you could hit people, you know? Like all you could do was grab onto them,
And drag them
right?
about endlessly. But then if they grabbed onto
Uh-huh.
you, there's like nothing you could do. You're just trapped forever. You're just like,
Uh-huh.
well, I guess
Yeah.
he holds on to me forever now.
Yeah, but basically we're going I wish you could grab onto people,
Hmm.
right? Or wish you could hit people. And in the final release of the game, there's a function where you can move your arms about independently.
Yeah,
And if you do like a quick flick, then
you
you do a
smack someone
like a
off.
you do a slap.
Yeah.
So
Complete
so
with like punch slap sound effect as well, which I
uh-huh.
really like. Like this is really cool animation.
So I would like to think that that is entirely down to us.
If you're listening, Media Molecule developers, you can contact Sam. Uh, how would you like them to contact you and give you your money for that? That animation
um,
that clearly allowed their game to be successful, because otherwise it would have been forgotten.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forgotten.
Uh,
Just like is there a way to comment on this podcast?
no. And I tell you what, you can fax me the details. Like just print get like a number, like just print out how much you're willing to pay in millions.
Uh-huh.
We'll just assume it's a million. So if you put four, that would be like 4 million. So fax me like a big number four, and I'll buy a fax machine.
I
And then
have a fax
you
machine. I
have
have a
well,
fax
this
machine.
just makes it a lot easier then.
Uh-huh.
So
Just fax me.
yeah.
Fax me the
So
details.
first of all, DM the RPG Radio Pod Twitter account. We'll tell you Sam's number. Then you fax
Uh-huh.
us how many millions you're willing to pay us on that, and then
Uh-huh.
we'll work from there.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Yeah, you can fax us the contract as well. We'll have our attorneys look over it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
the
And then
the terms of our payment.
we'll fax you our attorneys, and you fax yours, and then they'll have a bit of a discussion.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then we'll just accept any payment by carrier pigeon, I guess. Doubloons would be nice. Yeah.
Pieces of eight also
Pieces
acceptable.
of eight, yeah. We only get paid in sixpence and fruppennies. Yeah. That'd be a lot of bloody like sixpences to pay £4 million. I mean, geez, oh.
Not
But
if they're valuable sixpences.
that's true. I mean, my sister did find a silver. I forget what it's called. Some silver coin that's British in a field. We looked up, it was like £500. So they only need like eight of
Nice.
those, and that's like basically 4 million right there. So. But anyway, PS3 ending production. It's the end of an era. It's very sad. We'll miss it dearly, and we hope that well, we can already tell that the PS4 is can't speak, legitimate successor. It's blowing the Xbox out of the water, you know. Um,
Mm,
shall we move on to more Switch news? Are you prepared to talk about the Switch for more,
sure.
Okay, you didn't sound enthusiastic, but I'm gonna ignore that and continue. So, despite what I said last week, calling Switch a £300 Zelda machine, I feel like they were listening and they were like, "Oh, this guy on this podcast criticized us. So all those games we're gonna release. Yeah, we should release those now." So,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
so I believe it's basically all the games that were promised on launch. Okay, I've actually got. It's maybe not. We have Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, which is obviously the big one. Then I believe we have Little Inferno, which, if you don't know, is a game about burning stuff. Like,
Yeah, I've seen a playthrough of it. Is
you,
that not like a
hmm,
few years old?
it's quite a few years old, but I mean, so's Human Resource Machine. That's like 2 years old as
Uh-huh.
well.
No, but I swear Little Inferno came out
Ah,
in like 2012.
2012 exactly. Yeah, just found it.
Oh! Oh!
Nailed it. Yeah. Little Inferno's a weird game because it's a really ham-fisted metaphor for environmentalism and trying to be more environmentally conscious and not just consume mindlessly. Like, I really like that idea, but they sort of conveyed it in such an obvious way. I mean, I've not seen the end. I've only seen like the first hour or something. So, I don't know if it
Mm.
changes drastically, but what I got away from it is like don't spend your money frivolously, kids. It's kind of ironic that you have to be
Mm.
told that in a video game, but there you go.
Oh, I mean, I watched a playthrough when I was like literally 12, so
Mm.
I mean, I don't, I don't, I don't think I got even that.
Oh,
So
were you just like it's cool to burn stuff?
arson is fun.
Oh man, I wish I had a machine that just sent me things that I could burn. Oh man, a
Uh-huh.
box full of spiders. Oh, I can't wait to light that on fire forever. Um,
Mm.
I did like that the society's main source of entertainment was just buying things to set them on fire. That sets a weird precedent for the evolution of that society, where they invented fire and they were just so obsessed with it that every future invention revolved around burning things. Like
Mm.
that's quite a neat thing. But I mean, I would say the main game because those are both quite light. I mean, Human Resource Machine also, for if you don't know, is basically just teaching you the basics of coding in a kind of a neat little presented way where you work in an office and you basically it involves boxes and you have to write code essentially. It's not really it's not really like a substantial game, and I think it's not gonna like oh, it's also made by the same developers of Little Inferno as well, so that probably had something to do with it being on the
Yeah,
Switch.
that
It
makes sense.
because it doesn't really lend itself to being a Switch game because most of the time you're just typing. Like,
Hmm.
does the Switch have like an
That would
inbuilt
be,
keyboard or like?
I believe it's touchscreen. So if you're
Hmm,
playing it in tablet mode, you could probably bring up a
okay,
on-screen keyboard. Keyboard.
yeah,
Yeah,
but like, why wouldn't you just like play that on an iPad though? I'm pretty sure there's like an app
because you don't have an iPad.
or like your phone though, or like
What
your
if you don't
laptop.
have a phone?
Then you shouldn't be spending money on a Nintendo Switch. Why are you like, oh, I don't have a primary means of communication, the most essential device in the Western world, by having a Nintendo Switch and the ability to buy Human Resource Machine at a substantially inflated price. But
Yeah, I don't see that as not an option.
you know what? You're right. For Fred, the man out there who does that, I support your decision as an adult, buddy. You've been through enough in your life to earn, you've proved to be a responsible adult to actually earn like a wage that allows you to do this. So you live your life, buddy. Best of luck to you.
Classic, classic Fred.
Classic Fred. Um, I mean, obviously saving the best to last. Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus is probably the only game. Well, of those ones, it's kind of the only game that you're really getting.
Uh huh.
But I mean, I don't really need to say too much about it other than it's
I think
probably
it's well. I think it's good in that it shows that they're trying to move more towards indie stuff.
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
which is,
It,
I think, good for Nintendo that they're not just relying on, look, we have Zelda, look, we have Mario,
yeah.
look, we have Mario Kart and Smash
Smash
Bros.
Bros. Yeah. Yeah. I think the best thing Nintendo can do is have third-party games on their system because, like, even though they have this hardcore fan base, they're basically like the Apple of the gaming industry at this point, where, except I actually respect them, but they're basically the Apple of the gaming industry in that they can release anything and it will do reasonably well. You know, every game will probably sell well enough to, give them back the money they cost to make it. So they kind of don't need to grow, but I think to avoid them becoming stale, they really need to adopt these kind of these other games into it. I think like Stardew Valley is one that's due to come out as well, and that'll be good for the Switch. But my issue
Mm.
with this is they're all games that people have probably played already. You know,
I wouldn't say that
I,
because
I
it's they aren't console games. Well, Binding
well,
of Isaac
Isaac
sort of
is,
is,
and that
but
that's kind of what I was getting at because like if you haven't played an iteration of the Binding of Isaac since its inception, and you're into that kind of game, I'm honestly like I'd be quite surprised, But
then I mean, just because people have played it doesn't mean they won't buy it again.
especially if it's
See,
Afterbirth Plus as well.
Skyrim.
Okay, yeah, and Isaac is the game that you can play infinitely if you want to. It's procedural. You can do whatever. It's got a billion items in it, so like
Uh-huh.
I don't really know what to think. I guess if you're a fan of that style of game like Isaac, you've maybe played Rebirth, you probably didn't get Afterbirth or whatever, like you're looking to get the newest version because not a lot of people bought Afterbirth Plus and you already have a Switch, it would make sense to buy it on the Switch, right?
To be fair, Afterbirth Plus is meant to be not great.
Uh,
Uh,
I mean, it's not bad though. I think people have complaints about it, but I mean, the fact is it's just an expansion and it's still like 90% the same game it used to be. I think they have problems with the plus content, which is understandable, but if you're buying this on a Switch and like, you
uh-huh.
didn't own previous iterations, for example, if you're just buying it as a complete game, it's still like really good. The expansion might
Uh-huh.
not be as amazing, especially because it's meant to be the last one in the series, so it might not be as amazing as the other ones have been, but it's still pretty solid, I would say. What do we think about the cost of it? The cost of these games, which is going to be 9.99, which that's in dollars, I should say. So
Say
that
again.
probably it's going to be about
You
ten
cut out.
pounds. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it's going to be about £10 for all of those games. Are set to be the same price. So I mean, seems fair, I guess. I mean, I've been hearing rumors that a lot of the games, like the same game you can buy on, like PC for like £5 is like £40 on the
I'll
Switch.
look it up right now.
Yeah,
Right.
it is a
Binding
game. Don't get
Binding of
G2A
Isaac
though.
Rebirth
Yeah,
is £10, 10.99,
that's fair.
and
Yeah,
that's not including
Afterbirth and
either
Afterbirth
of these
Plus.
expansions.
They're like
So
a couple pounds each, right? Like they're not
yeah, yeah.
non-substantial.
So that's not bad.
Yeah, if you
In
discount the
fact, the
fact that
Binding of Isaac Complete
Mhm.
Edition is £25.
Okay, so I mean, if you discount the
That's
fact
all of
that,
them.
yeah, that's
Afterbirth and Afterbirth Plus are $7.99 and $6.99 respectively.
okay. So like the cheapest you can get for a similar experience if you're not going to G2A is about 25 quid. I mean, it seems like a really good deal if you ignore the fact that you just spent about £300 on a new console, but you know, mm,
So that's not bad,
it's
actually.
it's pretty good. I mean, like, let's say you only played the original Binding of Isaac, you never played Rebirth or whatever. This is a great opportunity, especially if you bought a Switch to like pick up the game again and see how much it's grown.
Well, I
So,
wouldn't say especially if you bought the Switch. I would say if you bought the Switch.
Yes, if you bought the Switch. Yes. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Because you're not gonna go and buy. It's not a game you buy the Switch for, but if you own a Switch, this is a good
I can
opportunity.
save £15. I'll
Nice.
buy the Switch
I
immediately.
just had to pay £300. Mm. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Yeah, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm making sure that we're still recording here surreptitiously, so to break the wall a little bit. Shall we move on to Pokemon Yellow? This can be a quick discussion, then we can move on to your other
Uh-huh.
topics. Pokemon Yellow can be played on the Apple Watch, guys.
Okay.
Hooray! Good.
I think. In what respect is it like an actual version of an official version of Pokemon Yellow?
Do you want me to it looks like it from like the demo here. I'll link you this. I'll link you the story. But
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
it's really it looks like an emulation. It says here a new Game Boy emulator has
well, I mean,
arrived.
it is an emulation. They're
Yeah,
not gonna like port it to the to the Apple Watch.
yeah. That'd be a
It's
bit odd. Oh, you just strap a bloody Game Boy Color to your like wrist. Ah, the future is here. Yeah.
it's gonna be an emulation either way, but
Yes, yes,
is
but
it an emulator or is it just
it's a
Pokemon
Game
Yellow?
Boy emulator which allows you to play
All right.
Pokemon Yellow. I mean,
I mean, I don't know why they picked specifically Pokemon
because
Yellow
it has
for this.
Pikachu in it, dude. Because Pikachu's a
Well,
starter.
I mean, all it's not a starter in Pokemon Yellow; it's
It's
the starter.
it's the starter, yeah. Like it's 100% marketing because like you're gonna choose the Pokemon that has the game that has the most recognizable Pokemon be the one you start with because I mean let me get this on my chest. I feel like this is the most redundant story I've ever read in my entire life because it's talking about a game that is like was it like 20 years old at this point? You know?
Uh huh.
Like it's talking about a
Oh,
game that's 20
nearly
years old that like
came out 1999,
okay, so it's 18 years old. If you had a child in the day that this came out, it would now be legally allowed to drive a car and vote, but
and and potentially drink alcohol.
and join the army and do other things.
I
I don't know what people are allowed to do these
have
days.
children.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
okay.
leave school.
Get paid
Uh,
full minimum wage, I think.
yeah,
Isn't that
18 is
18?
when you
Yeah.
get paid full minimum wage, I believe.
So there you
It,
go.
I believe.
If you can
Yeah.
classify your copy of Pokemon Yellow as a child, then it can now earn
It's
you a
no
full.
longer a child.
It's
It's basi-
yeah,
it's
it's a
it's no
grown
longer a
man.
minor.
It's emancipated from your its ownership of you. It can go off and live its own life. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but like, but it's like it's releasing this game that's really old. So like, it's never gonna be played by anyone. It's releasing it on a device that about 4 people in the entire world bought.
Mm.
Like,
And the controls will be shit.
well, like, have you seen like there's like this one GIF, and it's like I'll describe it to you if you can't see it, but like the A button is tiny. It's like 4 pixels wide in the corner. Start and select are reasonable, and the B button is huge. Like the B button takes up as much room as all the
I
other
th-
inputs put
I
together.
think the A button is you tap the screen.
Oh, you thinking it makes it bigger?
No, 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 no. You just tap. I don't think it has an A button.
So how do you do like directions? I guess you just drag
You
in the
tap and
direction.
hold,
Oh, like the
and
emulators
then
you get for your phone.
yes.
Yeah. That's the other thing as well. Like, but then I guess if you have an Apple like phone, you can't emulate games the way you can with Android because it's inferior. So I
I
guess like
believe there are emulators for
on the App
Apple.
Store, that'd be surprising.
I think there are. Emulators in and of themselves aren't illegal.
Yeah, but how do you get the files across on an Apple device? Because it's really like closed, isn't it? I mean, I guess it's not impossible. You can jailbreak them and stuff, but
Yeah, they might need a jailbreak.
Mm.
Yeah.
Here, download our app, jailbreak your phone, and you can play Pokemon. Or you could just, buy an Android. But
Buy a better phone,
buy
okay?
a better phone. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I really want
Buy
this
like
new.
a Windows phone,
Yeah,
a
exactly.
BlackBerry.
Oh, Blackberries run Android now though, so it's not even a fair criticism. You're just buying like a kind of not very
Um.
good Android phone. Buy
Uh.
the new Nokia 3310, which is in development.
Yeah, the Nokia,
Mm.
a new Nokia brick. You can play. You probably can't play Pokemon, but you can play Snake.
You know what'd
So
be
I
really
feel like
funny
that makes up for it.
is if the new 3310 runs Android, but it's just constantly emulating the 3310 like layout and design to this tiny screen. So it has like the power of a Galaxy 7, but it's just running like Snake. That'd be amazing. It's like, oh
Yeah.
man, Snake is like at 60 FPS. This is great. Uh, but yeah, it's stupid. I mean, if you own an Apple Watch, I'm pretty sure you didn't own it so you could eventually play Pokemon Yellow on it. If you're a Pokemon fan, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna buy an
Mm.
Apple Watch to play on it. But you know what? It's just occurred to me. This is just an elaborate tech demo, isn't it? To show off like how good the Apple Watch is.
It's as powerful as a console from 1999.
Oh boy!
Wow.
Do you remember 1999 when every portable device was the size of a brick? Me
No,
too.
I don't. No, I don't,
You weren't
Alex.
alive, so it doesn't
Yes, I
count.
was.
Okay, but you didn't even know what shapes were, okay?
I had no concept of object permanence.
So you
So,
probably think it was pretty great because the portable device vanishes from existence when it's not in your field of view.
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
the 90s were so much better. Everything just
Uh huh.
collapsed and just dematerialized.
Uh huh.
Oh my god. That story got way more time than I ever intended it to. So what do you want to talk about for the next 30 minutes, Sam?
um, do you want to talk about Jim Sterling?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, it's game related. I'll count it. Go for it. Should we say who he is though for people who don't
Sure.
know?
Yeah, yeah. He's just
So
yeah.
he's a very angry man who's very passionate about the video game industry. He believes that the video industry is constantly going down the toilet, and he likes to display this with outbursts of passion on his YouTube channel, I believe. Not that I have anything against the guy. He has actually made some very good and poignant points about the industry, and he has actually improved and validated a lot of video game journalism. So yeah.
Mm.
Should I say what my controversial opinion is so that everyone's sort of in the clear where I'm coming from?
Sure, go on.
I think he makes very good points, and I think he does contribute to the discussion more than pretty much any established like gaming journalism sort of publisher. But I can't get behind his delivery. It's such a small thing, but I think the way he says it kind of undermines the point he wants to make. Like if he made it in sort of a less like, sort of shouty kind of way, he would sort of be more effective at convincing people. But I mean, he convinces those who follow him, but I mean, trying to like convince people who, maybe don't even care about the gaming industry, I guess. So
Mm.
that's my opinion of Jim Sterling, anyway. But what's the story?
Basically, he gave Zelda Breath of the Wild a 7 out of 10
Heresy. Burn the man.
on
Burn him at the stake.
me- on like Metacritic,
Hmm.
which caused its score to go from 98
Oh, to
down to
97.
97, I believe.
Do you want me to look it up just now?
So, if you want, but
I'll look up the score.
basically, some people got quite angry at him.
Hmm.
He got his website denial of service attacked.
So you can't go on it anymore. Well, it's probably
I
back up now, but
think you can now, but
mm.
you
Oh, the
couldn't.
rating's 96, Sam.
It might be from 97 to 96 then.
Mm.
Or it might have gone down further since.
Yeah.
So, so uh, it's just
That's quite a
it's a
volatile
bit silly.
reaction. I mean, like I'm looking at Metacritic right here, and the user score for those of you who don't know how Metacritic works, there's the professional critics who get one section on the website, so you see their score, and then you see the user score, which is people who go on the site and it can be pretty much anyone can review a game and give it a score. I mean, the user score is 7.4. Like, I think the issue is
But
that
I mean, the user score is like people literally only gives tens or zeros. So it's a
yeah,
bit.
you know what? But like my point is sort of that like it kind of reflects if we assume this to be at least a pseudo accurate representation of public opinion, like he's not that far off. I mean, like I haven't seen his review fully, and like I kind of hate that reviewers give scores for games because I feel like it kind of undermines every other point they make in their argument because people don't really care why that game is a 7 out of 10. They just care about the number. Like this piece of
Well,
subjective
I
art
believe.
and a personal opinion can be quantified, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I
Eh,
believe the main problem with it was that he counted as one of the like professional reviewers or whatever.
Ah, okay.
So
Yeah.
he was like he was the only one or one of the only ones that
Mm.
gave it not a 9 or 10 or whatever. So
I mean, he is a professional. So, like I'm pro Jim Sterling on this, and I think most people would be because you can't like you can't lie. You know, if you think a game is a 7 out of 10, it's your responsibility as a professional critic to give it a 7 out of 10. And I'm sure he had very valid reasons for giving it a 7 out of 10. I mean,
I
it
suspect it was mostly to do with frame rate and such,
okay.
because it does have problems with that. Plus, some
Yeah.
people have been having problems with tearing,
Uh,
so
but that's a
it's
valid
probably to do with that.
that's a
I've not
valid
seen his
criticism.
review, gonna
Mm,
be honest, but I
yeah.
suspect because the gameplay is pretty good.
Yeah.
Is
The
but
story is apparently good as well, like, but it's
yeah,
Zelda,
yeah,
so
and it's told well, and it's
mm,
well voice acted. Apart from the
mhm.
fucking fish lady princess,
Uh,
sounds exactly like Zelda.
oh, right,
Um,
okay.
but
Forgivable
whatever.
though. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the thing is that that's totally fair because like
Uh huh.
if a game is a 10 out of 10, that means
That
that
means
it's
it's perfect.
perfect. Yeah, exactly. And you can't just go
It's
around
not perfect.
it's objectively not perfect. Now, does it deserve a 7 out of 10 for that alone? Maybe not. Maybe like you can forgive it, but if this man's opinion, if this man's professional opinion, he believes that this game as a 7.4 and the frame rate, which, you know, it's a pretty core aspect of a game. You know, you wouldn't go to like to watch a movie and be like, "Oh man, that movie was really good, but it was only like 4 FPS, so it was more like a slideshow." So, I mean, it's still a 10 out of 10, but I just wish I could watch it like and actually see things moving properly, you know? Like you wouldn't do that. It sounds ridiculous. So like I don't know. It's a core aspect of gaming, and if it does take you out of it, and it's almost worse, isn't it? Because you have this great game, you want to be more invested in it, and you're not. Yeah, you know what? I support Jim Sterling on this. I think it's fair, and I think people need to calm down about Zelda just a little bit.
It's just an opinion, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an opinion, and it's
I
just a
think
video
I think
game.
I think it's probably people who have got like because this is the thing that genuinely happens is people buy something
Hmm.
and then they look to reviews to validate their purchase.
Oh yeah,
They go
definitely.
right, and then so people have bought this and they've bought the fucking Zelda
Yeah,
Switch machine,
yeah. This is like what?
and
It's at least three
so
hundred
they've
pounds, maybe more.
£350 if you include the game
Hmm.
of investment,
Yeah,
and currently it's the only like main game that's out.
yeah.
So if it's bad, then they've
But
made a bad investment.
like
You know?
the thing is, me and you both know someone who's like this, where they'll buy something and they'll think it's great, but then if someone tells them Like, and it can be anyone. If anyone tells them that they don't like it or they don't think it's as good, he instantly does not like it anymore. You know, like
Mm,
his opinion of it just inverts. So,
mm.
you know who I'm
Yes.
talking about, right? Yeah. I don't want to say his or her name. This is it's Gordon, but
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, like you don't have to be so visceral about it. Like if literally I'm looking on the page right now and there's only 1 0 out of 10 and it's just so the guy can be featured on the top of like the review. It's the lowest score I can see here is a 90 out of 10. To put that into perspective, like the
A
Shawshank
90 out
Redemption
of 10.
and well a 90 out of 100, I'm sorry. Okay. Basic maths. Like the Shawshank Redemption on IMDb isn't even like that, and it's like the best movie on there. Like it's the
Mm.
#1 rated movie. It's okay. It's like a 9.3. So like if your game is getting equivalent scores to like the best like movie ever made by like most people, then you gotta be pretty proud of your investment, right? Or is it just that you lack
Uh-huh.
any ability to like think for yourself and feel like your opinions on your own matter? I've been
Yeah.
very outraged this show. I think like
Yeah.
gah, society. Yeah. But uh
I'm kind of annoyed at the moment because I want to play Zelda,
mm.
but my dad's gone to Aberdeen and he's taken the bloody Switch,
Oh
has he? So,
no. So you're trapped Zelda-less. Yeah.
uh-huh.
What would you do if he got back and he'd like overwritten your save? It's that bad, right?
Not play Zelda and pretend it doesn't exist as a
Yeah,
game.
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean that this will be if that happens, this will be Sam's last appearance on the podcast. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like it's sad to say that I'm not surprised this happens because it's like the internet and you'll never see such concentrated outrage than people being mad about a Nintendo game on the internet. So
I bet it was 4chan. I bet it was
you're
someone on 4chan who did it.
I bet that at least one of the people who were involved with it has browsed 4chan in the past. I'll give them that. But please don't dox me.
No, it was the anonymous hacker 4chan.
Oh right, I understand. Right, yeah. Okay. 4chan. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he
Yeah,
definitely did
4chan.
it. I hear he runs the group Anonymous as well because like
Uh-huh.
all of his
He's
posts on his website are by Anonymous. So
uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
anyway, I hope Jim Sterling's doing okay. Despite the fact you're a shouty man, I agree with your opinion. So there you go. Is there anything else you want to talk about in the 2 minutes that we have? We can go a bit
Uh
over. Like I don't really mind if we go over.
we could briefly talk about the Windows no longer supporting stuff for Windows 7 and 8.1.
Yeah, I mean, as a proud owner of a PC which runs 8.1, um, I use Nvidia and like Intel, so I'm not
No,
affected by it. But
no. Intel is affected as well. The KB Lake
hmm
ones, they're Intel. So basically, the newest Intel or AMD ones.
is it
So
CPUs or
Ryzen are
GPUs?
CPUs.
CPUs, yeah.
Uh, if you have 7 or 8.1
hmm
and you try to update your system, it will not let you.
Right. I mean, all I can say is that's fair. You know, I mean, I'm not like, I'm not mad about it at all because eventually technology's got to progress. You can't honestly expect companies to keep, providing backdated support. And, I've said it before, like when this machine stops functioning, I will just get a new one and I'll install Windows 10 on it because Windows 10 is fine. It's pretty
Mm.
good overall. But
I
it's
would indeed rate it as pretty good.
yeah,
Out
certain annoying things on it. Uh, Cortana, other things I'm sure. But
Mostly Cortana.
Mostly
You can
Cortana.
turn her off though, kind
You
of.
can kind of turn her off if you go into the registry and deactivate her node, but then she still works in the back end. She just can't annoy you.
Yeah, yeah. You open Task Manager and you see
She's
Cortana, and
just
you're
sitting
like,
there, and I'm like, "What you doing?
"What are you doing, bro?
Where did you come
Bro?"
from?" It's like that
And then
stalker
you
that stands
end
outside your
task. You
house.
do end task, and
Hmm.
then it goes away,
Yeah,
and it just comes
and
back.
just
It
comes
just
back.
comes back. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, can I get a restraining order, please, from Cortana?
Yeah, please. I believe my virtual PA is stalking me. But it's fine. It's got to happen. And I think people with Windows 7, Windows 8.1, older systems, they realize that they're not going to last forever. And the kind of people who are, buying CPUs are the kind of people, you don't buy a CPU and like install it in a machine and then proceed to go and buy Windows 8 at this point, do you? Like you'd actually have to be willing to like, willingly like trying to
I would say you might. Some people really like Windows 7
yeah.
for good reason. It's pretty good.
Mm,
So I would say that's not outside the realms of possibility, but
mm. But
ah
like
well.
Windows 10 is fine though. Like I can understand people's complaints with Windows 8. They were perfectly valid, but like you can't honestly say Windows 7 is better than Windows 10. At worst, you can say it's the same and I don't want to
Um,
upgrade. Like, I mean, I also understand that it is the internet and the capacity for people to like hold grudges and things is like pretty
yeah,
insane. Uh, well, that's the podcast for this week. Yeah, I think we did a good job informing the people out there. Sam, how would you rate our performance out of 10?
I
Anything
would
less
rate.
than a 9 and I will dox you.
I would say pretty good. Pretty good out of 10.
All right.
Um,
I mean, if you count the letters at
if
pretty good, that's like at
uh
least 11, so yeah.
yeah, I would say there's still no jingle. We've
That's
got
a
a
bit
name,
bad. We
so
got a
it's
name.
improving, but there's no jingle.
The main reason there isn't a jingle is because my guitar isn't in the room right now. I mean, when we do get a jingle, it will just be horrible mic acoustic guitar quality. So be prepared for that next week because, who,
I'm
who, who pays for a jingle or records it properly?
it's coming live or
Please,
as live as they
as
say.
live. Like every
I,
time it's a little different. There you go.
Because we don't know what it is. We just make it
We
up.
just make it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have my guitar right here.
Do you want to play
Oh,
us out then? Just give us like 5 seconds of I don't literally anything.
what should I? What? What?
Do you want to just like mm, yeah. Quality content.
Yeah. Anyway, right.
Yeah, there you go. Um this has
That
been our
song is called "Left Bank 2" by some people. So there you go.
good to know. It's also known as the tune that they played on Art Attack sometimes, I think.
Yeah, it's when they did like the gallery bit.
Ah, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, well, that wraps it up. Sam, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Um, um, just remember, your life is a lie. The universe is a hologram, and you should buy gold.
All right. Well, on that note, thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back next week. This has been RPG Radio. Adios, amigos.